Today's Talking Reds. I'm John Gibbons. I'm driving the train today, and I'm joined by Craig Hannan, my handsome assistant. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, it's you might get this gig permanently then if you do well today.
Oh, is this a trial? Am I on trial? As long as I know, I'm going to bring my A game. See, I was going to go about A minus, maybe B plus. You know what I mean? But now I know there's pressure. Come on, where are we? This is Talking Reds. I am John Gibbons. I'm your host. I'm joined by Craig Hannan. I'm just joking. We're going to be talking in these videos generally. If you haven't seen yesterday's, do go back and have a look. It was really good that Gareth did with Craig. But we're going to be talking generally about kind of the day's LFC news, what's going on in the world of Liverpool, and then the world of the Anfield app as well, just to keep you updated about the things we've got going on. So, yeah, there was a press conference today. The game's come thick and fast now, as we all know. There's a press conference at 1 o'clock today with Jurgen Klopp's doing. We're recording that a little bit before that. So you might have seen some of the stuff already. But what kind of things are you expecting in this press conference? I've seen a little bit on, look, team selection at the moment is the hot topic. It's what we've been talking about a lot at the Anfield app. You've seen people talking about the team we put out against Chelsea. How much rotation do we need? And that's something that's surely going to come up.
Yeah, definitely. There was a little bit of a debate in our free show the other day, Rob Gutman against Dan Austin and Melissa Reddy, where they were talking about, Rob thought that you could see why he'd made the changes. It looked as if the players were tired, and with the run-in of very winnable games coming up now, you should have, hopefully, Firmino and Mane looking fresh and playing tomorrow night. So you'll definitely be talking about team selection. Another thing as well was the Mane row on the bench. I didn't get on this on Saturday, actually. I'm right at the back of the Kop, so it's hard to see, but I just saw in the highlights. There's a little bit of to and fro between Mane and Klopp as he was coming off. Mane's talked to Sky Sports. He said that he asked me to play on the right hand side, and one time I tried to ask for the ball in the number 9 position. Mo Salah was on my side, and the coach kept shouting, "Sadio, come on to the right hand side." After the game, I told the coach it was easier if you told Mo to come in because he was close to. I don't fancy Jurgen Klopp shouting at me all game. You see what he's like. He's very animated, and he knows what he wants. I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of him either, would you? You
wouldn't, but I think Jurgen always comes across to me as well as a manager who doesn't mind a bit of, not pushback, but to and fro, and he's not, it's my word or nothing. He respects his players, he respects them as human beings and kind of grown-ups really, and he'll know that he's got intelligent footballers, which Sadio is, and he's born winners and leaders, and sometimes they're going to have things to say. So seems a massive storm in a teacup to me. I'm glad that Sadio's come out and explained it. I was a bit worried that Sadio was basically saying, why didn't you got me on earlier, which, although he might have had a point, is the sort of thing you kind of don't necessarily want to see around the football club. But if they're just talking about positioning and in-game tactics and things like that and how they're being used, then I think that's natural. That's the kind of thing that's going to be discussed, between players and managers. Sometimes it's going to be on the pitch where you can see, sometimes it's going to be in the dressing room. So shouldn't matter too much. And I'm sure Sadio Mane will be back in the team against Stoke. We'll just have to kind of see who else is in there really, and when he looks to rest the others, because Firmino will be back, Mane will be back at some point. Our top scorer, the Premier League's top scorer, Mo Salah's, presumably he's going to go rest. So whether do you do him Wednesday or do you wait till the weekend?
It's a difficult one. You'd imagine with so many games coming thick and fast that Jurgen Klopp will almost be planning his sides game by game and in advance. So you'd imagine he's probably talked to Sadio Mane and Firmino and said, look, I'm going to rest you here, but this is where I'm going to use you, and sort of outlaid his plans to them. I'd like to see Mane back. I'd like to see Firmino back. I'd probably keep Salah in for this game, just wet, windy night on a Wednesday night in Stoke and all that. I know it's not the same as what it used to be, the way Mark Hughes' side play now compared to the past, but I just think we need a win after the last 2 games. There's a little bit of frustration how we've been in winning positions and then gone on to draw them both, and although they're both not, they're not bad results, it's just the context of them as we spoke about yesterday. So yeah, a win would be lovely tomorrow night.
Yeah, you mentioned Mark Hughes there. He's already done his press conference and he's talked about the Liverpool defence, and he's basically said it's not as bad as everyone's saying, and they get themselves in a lot of one-on-one situations, and it's going to be tougher with the way they play. I wonder whether this is, some Mark Hughes basically saying to the Stoke fans, don't be expecting us to score loads of goals, you know what I mean? I think there's maybe a little bit of that. I wonder whether he'd be so kind about the Liverpool defence if he wasn't managing our opposition.
Yeah, I just don't trust managers in press conferences these days. I just think there's probably they're always saying it for a reason, and whether that's the same as what he's saying to his own players in the back, I reckon he'd be saying to his attacking players, you can get at these lot, just get at them. But yeah, I just don't trust what they say. And as for the defence, I wouldn't fancy being a defender in this Liverpool side. And I think we've talked about the home record. The home record's quite good. I just don't think they'll ever be able to win. I think just the way Jurgen Klopp plays, they could have 4 good games, and then there's always going to be that one where there's mistakes. And so I feel a little bit sorry for them, really.
Okay. We always do a reaction show after the press conferences. It's sort of a match preview, if you like, but we do it after we've heard from Jurgen. That's called Team Talk. It happens before every Premier League game, so we're recording that today. So the press conference is at 1. We'll be running over to the studio straight after, so that'll be coming out at some point today as a preview. And also before the Stoke game, we've got a really good interview with Rafa Honigstein coming out as well, haven't we?
We do, yeah. He spoke with Neil and Andy, I think it was, ahead of his new book about Jurgen Klopp, which I've started reading. It's really good, some little interesting anecdotes, and he talks about them. He talks about, I think he's talked to Adam Lallana in the book, he's talked to Bovac as well, and they talk at length about how goalkeepers are perceived in England, and how there's a nice anecdote about how in England, once someone sees a goalkeeper as being shit, they're always seen as shit, and no matter what they do, they'll always be waiting for them to be shit again. I think that's the exact words he used. So it's a really good interview. We'll have a couple of clips on Twitter as well tomorrow, so you'll be able to see little previews on that.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, all that to look forward to at the Anfield Wrap coming over the next few days. It's a brilliant time to subscribe where the games come thick and fast. Previews, analysis, in depth, and sometimes just a bit fun as well. So yeah, get on all that. But we're going to have a look at the papers now, aren't we? Yeah. So let's have a look at the papers. We've got them in front of us like professionals. We've been in the shop and everything. And there's a lot on managers at the moment. And Allardyce seems to back favourite him on Martin O'Neill, who Everton have gone for, and it just seems to be the same old names, isn't it? And that's a kind of general theme that the papers have picked on a little bit. So this is the Mirror, pay it again, Sam. Obviously, kind of going back to Allardyce, if you like, and Oliver Kay's written a good article, hasn't he, in the Times about this idea of chairman being so nervous about making mistakes. They're just going for the same old faces, kind of even if they know that the ceiling on them is potentially quite low. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Ole Kay's written it's really interesting actually, because you've seen Pardew's going. It looks as if he's going to be going to West Brom. Obviously Allardyce. You've seen Moyes, Hodgson. It's the same faces every single year, and I kind of feel a little bit sorry for Sherman in that there's so much money in the Premier League nowadays that they have to be risk averse. They have to do what's best to keep their team in the Premier League with the money that's going on. And you've seen the likes of De Boer come in at the start of the year. That was a bit of a risk. It's not really paid off. So yeah, it's really interesting. Now you'll be able to see it there. Strugglers turn to same old faces. Ole Kay said the sad fact is that the entire culture that surrounds the Premier League clubs regard it as commercial pawns by investors, with 100 million in broadcast revenue guaranteed just for avoiding relegation, and that discourages risk. So yeah, interesting. Yeah, I kind of wonder. I mean, I understand kind of Ollie's point, but I sometimes wonder whether chairmen are looking at it as well and thinking, well, what you can take a gamble on someone, but if it does badly, obviously you've got to sack him. But if it does really well, then straight away the manager's just been linked away, and you see that with Marco Silva. Yeah, exactly. Marco Silva's gone to Watford. It was an appointment that got a bit of criticism, didn't it? Quite famously, all the guys on Soccer Saturday listing the young English managers who they think should have been given the job ahead of Marco Silva. But Marco Silva's done there and gone brilliantly, but now Everton want him, and it looks like that Watford are going to be keeping hold of their manager, but it also looks like that Marco Silva quite fancies the Everton job really, and this is just after a few months there. So maybe as well that these clubs are we're looking at managers thinking, well, at least we can pick someone who, if they do quite well there, the top club's not going to poach them. So one of the top six isn't going to come in for Sam Allardyce, for example, or an Alan Pardew. So maybe they're looking at it like that. Maybe they're thinking, well, we can take these risks, but if the worst case scenario is that they do rubbish, and the best case scenario is that they do great, but then someone kind of comes in and steals them anyway. And so I think that may be coming into the thought process as well.
It's interesting you say about the Soccer Saturday lads, because it's not as if these teams are going for the young English managers, if you know what I mean. They're going for the tried and tested. Like Ollie did say in the article, it should Pardew and Allardyce sign, it would mean that 4 of the season's 5 managerial changes in the Premier League would have involved the appointments of British men aged between 50 and 70. So the teams they're going for tried and tested. They're not going for the young managers.
Yeah, I think we've got unexpected kind of unrealistic expectations of young managers as well, and it feels like Eddie Howe did brilliant at Bournemouth, but then everyone's a bit like, well, what next? What's he going to do with them now? But maybe Bournemouth have got a ceiling. Look, Bournemouth are 13th in the Premier League, which is fantastic, but because he's been around the Premier League now, we've sort of stopped giving like Eddie Howe credit, and I think in other countries, I think they look at young managers and they can see something in them, and maybe aren't thinking, well, they haven't won anything yet, or they haven't or maybe they've had a bad couple of months. I think they'll see someone in them, like with Eddie Howe, whereas in this country I think we are kind of a little bit more reluctant.
Yeah.
Anything else in the papers? I know there's a nice thing about with Trent Alexander-Arnold that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, there is.
In the Echo.
Really nice interview with Andy Kelly. He just sounds like a lad that's still got his head on his shoulders, his feet in the ground, and just smart. He talks about, he knows that going forward he's better than he is at defending, but that's something that they're working on every day in Melwood, and that's something that he wants to improve on. And it's interesting, he talks a little bit about how he was visiting a school, and he announced himself as a defender, and he talked about that being the position that he might play for the next couple of years. I wonder if going further on in his career, he maybe just sees this position as a gateway, like Carragher and even Gerrard when he first came through. I wonder if you maybe see him in centre midfield, because I know you've talked a lot about, or you've watched a lot of him at the academy, haven't you?
Yeah, I've watched sort of Trent since he was 16, and he was an attacking midfielder, and then he went back into central midfield and then to right back. I think he'll play for right back a little bit longer than Gerrard did. I think Gerrard, was kind of half a season really. I think they've got ideas of Trent being there a little bit longer, but we'll wait and see. But as you say, he just seems to be happy to be in the team at the moment, and it's a really nice success story. He's a lad who's been at Liverpool since the age of 9, and he's at a school in West Derby in this interview he does with Andy Kelly, and that's quite nice as well, because he's a boy from West Derby. It's where Melwood is, and so those of us who think it's a little bit of a shame that the team doesn't have a bit more of a Scouse heartbeat than maybe it used to. It's nice to have lads like Trent knocking around who can inspire the young people kind of in the cities to think, well, maybe one day they can play for Liverpool too. Yeah,
and the fact that he looks the real deal, I think throughout my lifetime, certainly post Gerrard, Carragher coming through, it's felt like we've always heard these names from the academy touted, and then they just sort of peter out a little bit. They don't become what we hoped. Rossiter springs to mind as the kind of latest one. So yeah, hoping for big things from Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Let's hope so. Okay, I think that's all of us done. Do let us know how you make of these videos. We're still starting, we're still trying a few things as well, so if you've got any things that you'd like to see us doing more of, or you just want to lavish praise on today's host, then feel free to do that as well. Host or co-host, do distinguish, it's very important. We want to know which one of us gets the job tomorrow, and which one's on the scrap heap. But yeah, get on the Anfield app. As I said, we're doing loads at the moment because the team are doing loads. It's a very busy time, so it's a great time to subscribe to the Tour Player, £5 a month. Or if you're not quite sure, then just keep watching the videos and keep enjoying the free content that we put out, and maybe we'll persuade you one day. But in the meantime, thanks very much, and up the Reds.